What's up YouTube, and welcome to this Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them video review. Now I'm not going to drop any big spoilers for you because there is a huge twist at the end which personally I saw coming from about probably 10 minutes in, I think, when we first saw the hints, etc. But I'm not going to give you any spoilers on that, but I will tell you if the film's any good or not. Now, if you are a fan of Harry Potter, then you must have read Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them when it first came out back, I think it was in the 90s. It was for a Children in Need, was it Comic Relief special, and you bought it for like £1 or like whatever $1 was back then. So it was interesting that they chose to do this novella as a movie, sorry, not a video review. That's this. It's interesting they chose to do it because it was so short, and it also had Quidditch. It had a Quidditch book as well with it, which I found more interesting. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them was okay. It was a nice addition to the books that were still being published at the time. They were way off Deathly Hallows. So that's pretty interesting unto itself. Now, the choice of lead character is absolutely perfect. A bumbling British person with a posh voice, Eddie Redmayne, who is perfect in this role and who I loved in Les Miserables, the movie version with Hugh Jackman and Russell Crowe, which if you haven't seen that, you need to check that out. And it is just amazing. It's got Amanda Seyfried in it as well, and he's got kind of a love story with her. So if you've not seen that, go check it out. But he does really play the role perfectly. And we are littered with references to the main series of Harry Potter and the Wizarding World. This is going to be pretty much the franchise opening up to a wider kind of story arc. So we've got this Wizarding World. It's a Wizarding World film, and just like Star Wars, you've got Rogue One, a Star Wars story. You've got Han Solo, a Star Wars story. So they're following the same vein as Star Wars, or not sure who had the idea first, but they are opening their franchises up to not just the main story that took place in the world. And this is very much the same here. We've got a wider story. We get to see the Wizarding World of New York. Now, I am a bit disappointed in this film. We didn't get to see too much of that Wizarding World. I mean, it pretty much focuses on Newt trying to find something in New York. Now, I'm not going to say what because that'd be a spoiler, but it pretty much follows him and his bag of tricks, or his luggage case of tricks, which contains some magical beasts. Now, these magical beasts are illegal in New York, and this causes much ire from a former Auror in New York. But really, we don't get to see much of the Wizarding World, which I was a bit disappointed with. My favourite parts of the Harry Potter franchise is one of my favourite parts of the first film and the first book is when Harry goes into Diagon Alley for the first time. This is when he sees the world as a whole. Now, it's a different story. Harry Potter was going from a mundane, torturous life into this huge new world. Newt Scamander is used to it. He is an expert in everything magical related. So it can be forgiven, but I find it a bit weird that you went into this whole new world. You made a big thing about being in New York. We didn't get to see much of the Wizarding World, who are even more undertrodden than the magical people in London and the UK. So we get to see their version of the Ministry of Magic. We go there a couple of times, but we never get to see really what makes it tick, which is a bit of a shame, to be honest. So it's not a bad thing, it's just as a fan of Harry Potter, I'd have liked to see more of this world. We get to see a speakeasy of magical creatures in their magical people, but that's as close as we get to understanding the underbelly of the Fantastic Beasts world. Or magical place in New York. I hate the term No-Maj. I love the fact that he corrects her and calls them muggles. And it's interesting that they chose this to be a film where we get a Muggle to follow him around. We get him and it's kind of a sidekick thing, but it definitely seems to be that this sets up the story. This sets up the world. It is very much to do with the bit in Deathly Hallows where we mention Grindelwald as well. So that is a huge thing. So I would go back and perhaps read Deathly Hallows again, or read up on what happened in it with Albus back in the past, just to set you up for what is happening in this film. So it's going to be pretty interesting. So this is really just a setup for the next load of films that are going to come out, the sequels, where we see real danger. We get to see a real wizarding war, which is going to be fucking sweet. And what I like in this is the fact that what I noticed, we're dealing with grown wizards. So they know how to use all the spells, they know how to... So we get a lot more action. And what I found weird is they get that spell where they kind of go in on themselves and then teleport or fly or whatever. Which I found strange because we never really saw that in the original Harry Potter films. You'd think someone did it, but then again we was dealing with kid wizards who didn't know absolutely everything. We rarely saw an adult wizard proper do his thing. Until later on, we had the Dumbledore's army, we had the Order of the Phoenix, and then we had the huge war. But I quite liked the CGI, the effects and everything is fantastic, and there's a lot of humour in this. And Eddie Redmayne does a fantastic job of playing who he is, and he just shows his acting chops here, and it fits perfectly with the rest of the Harry Potter franchise. And I'm really excited to see what is going to happen moving forward in the sequels. And I think this franchise is going to be very, very big. Although I am surprised, when I saw it at the theatre, it was half full. Or even, not even that. So I'm interested to see how the opening figures are going to do for it. I hope we get to see more of these characters again, because it kind of leaves it on a closing note. But I think that what's going to happen is each sequel will be set in a new location and we'll get to see a new wizarding world. Hopefully they explore it a bit more this time. But that's it. Please do drop a like, please do subscribe. See you soon. Goodbye.